Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amy. This is a channel about crafting, mostly cross stitch. So I haven't done one of these in a while. Not for any like bad reason or anything, but mainly because I was trying to see if they were gonna affect my channel by not doing these videos, and they have. Not significantly, but enough for me to realize that you guys do like the Stitch With Me's because they don't get near as many views as my Flosstube. So I kind of just wanted to do a little experiment for a few weeks, and now I'm seeing the results of that. So hopefully I can get back to where I was. So yeah, today we're working on, I don't know if you can actually see this. If not, I'll put a picture here. I probably will anyway, because I always do. Working on the Curious Mermaid. I am almost done. I have been monogamously stitching this one for several days now. At the beginning of my Flosstube week, which is like a Thursday. Actually, today's Friday. This is the day that I normally record my Flosstubes. So let's see if I have time to record a Flosstube today as well. But at the beginning of my Flosstube week, I was working on a new start that I'll show you guys, and then I worked a little bit on Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow. Not very much, but I really want to finish that block that I'm doing. And then I brought this one back out because I couldn't stop. If you saw my most recent Flosstube, which is maybe the video before this, you'll see a lot of the work that I got done. So now I've completed everything from this corner all the way this way. So everything here up to her hand is completely finished. I came down a little bit here already. I hope you guys can see this. I've come down a little bit here, and I'm working in this section here. I'm up at the snail actually, so I did a little bit more than I thought. I did all of this. I think I still need to do these two fish right here. This blue, she is completely done. And I just need to do these parts right here. Now what I'm noticing is that these colors don't represent the colors on that's actually charted for. And I think that's in part to I believe that this is a digital image and not the actual stitched piece. I could be completely wrong, but this does not look like the real image, and so the colors don't completely match. Like the red is fine, the light blue is the same, but these other two colors don't quite match what's on here. And I think it's the digital green background against the digital stitches is just changing it slightly. I think that the colors in the digital mock-up are lighter, especially this blue. I think this blue is a lot lighter. I'd have to go through my my DMC stash to pick out a more accurate color, but at the time I didn't even think that that was an issue at all until I started stitching it. You can definitely see the difference in them, but on this other side where my Bejeweled is a lot darker, these blues are definitely harder to see. And this is like the Bejeweled too, and it looks like a dark blue. It's not. It is this color. And I'm glad that I actually chose the Bejeweled because this was originally supposed to be 939, and I don't think it would have come out the same. This color here, this dark color, that was supposed to be 939. I don't think it would have looked good with a 939. So yeah, that's my spiel on that. Let's see what else. There's another mermaid that they came out with that I'd like to do as well. And then what else? The other mermaid, I can't remember what it's called. It's called like Little Minnow or something like that. And it's another mermaid like her. She looks very similar to this one, and I believe they are also stitched in red, which is DMC 814. And it has a little baby mermaid next to her, and I thought that was so freaking adorable, and I'm thinking of getting it. And it's way less stitches than this one is, at least it looks like it is. I'll tell you, these autumn lane patterns are definitely deceiving. They don't look like there are as many stitches as they are. But yeah. So anyway, I've been good. My kids are good. Everybody's good. Everybody was sick last week. I don't know what happened, but they were really, really sick. My son swore up and down that it was COVID. So I tested him. It was not COVID. But my daughters both had it. I got lucky and I did not have it. I hope I'm not speaking too soon, but it seems to have cleared up. And I haven't gotten it, but I think it's because, you know, I keep my house fairly clean. And, you know, my kids pretty much all sleep in their own beds now, except for my youngest. She kind of toggles back and forth, and I think it's because she's the youngest, she still has it in her head that she's like, you know, the baby and whatnot. And so, you know, I'm not really like in their face like I would be if they were younger. So I'm able to kind of keep my distance even in the same house. So I've been lucky that I didn't get it. What else? We went out of town for Mother's Day. That was fun. That was, what, 2 weeks ago now? We went to my grandmother's house and spent some time there. My mom met up with us there, which was really nice because my mom does not go anywhere. I don't know, she just doesn't. Her and her husband are both retired, and it's a lot. He's on oxygen, and so it's a lot for her to travel a lot of the time. And you know, they don't really go a lot of places unless it's for doctor's appointments or whatever. And so it was like really a big deal for her to go over there. And it's nice because we usually get to see a couple of extra people because I go down way more often than my mom does. And so when my mom shows up, everybody's like, oh shoot, we gotta go to mom's house, which is my grandma. But yeah, it's just crazy. So I'm curious. Oh, I hate when that happens. Always at the end. Is anybody's families the same as when they were kids? Like, does everybody still talk to everybody? Do you guys still all have like family traditions? I'm curious to know. So I have you know, we're a Hispanic family. I don't want to say a typical Hispanic family, but we're a Hispanic family. You know, we used to do a lot of things growing up, and you know, we used to have tons and tons and tons of get-togethers. But then as I became an adult, like that pretty much stopped. Like nobody hangs out with anybody anymore. Nobody talks to anybody. I don't know why. I haven't really had any like particular instances with any family members like to create a situation where they don't like me, because we all really don't know each other anymore. I'm the oldest grandchild, so all of the other kids, like, they're all adults now, obviously. Like, nobody talks to anybody, and to me, it's like, it's the weirdest thing ever. Like, I don't understand it. Is anybody else's family like that? Even now, like, my uncles, we don't talk. We used to be really, really close when I was younger, and now, like, nobody talks to anybody at all. What am I using? Oh, Bejeweled. Yeah, it's just so strange. Like, they come, so I live in like the next biggest city, with all of these surrounding towns, up to like 2 hours away. And so a lot of people come here to go shopping. Like, we have a mall, we have a ton of restaurants that you don't see anywhere else in all of the smaller towns. So a lot of people come here for that. And they come here, and like nobody calls me. I've lived here for 7 years. It's no secret that I am here. Nobody calls me to say, hey, I'm here. Like, do you want to come say hi? Do you want to or can we stop by and say hi? Or like, hey, we're at the mall, like I just wanted to see if you wanted to just come say hey real quick. Nothing. And it's like, I don't get it. Like, I don't understand why. And like, I go to my grandma's house, and they'll all go over there to say hi and to visit and whatnot. But like, I don't know. They like don't want people at their house. Everybody's just so weird now. Like, is that Did anybody else notice that as you became an adult, like with your family? I think it's the weirdest thing ever. Like, I've never had like an incredibly large family, but you know, and for myself, like, I never wanted a ton of kids, and I'm not gonna have more kids just to have like a larger group of people in my circle. But like, it kind of sucks, like, not having as many close family members. Like, really, I talk to, it's my mom and her husband, my sister, from on my mom's side, the sister I grew up with, and then I talked to my dad, and my aunt, which is my mom's sister, and that's pretty much it. Like, I still talk to my grandma, but we're not like particularly close. Oops, still gotta keep going right there. We're not like best friends or anything. Like, I call her, you know, often to chit chat and make sure like she knows that we're still here for her, because she's like, you know, in her late 70s. She lost my grandpa 7 years ago, so you know, it's been something. um and that's pretty much it. Like, I don't talk to any of my cousins at all. Like, none, 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 not a single one. We're not close at all. There's a couple of them that like we can send like a message to on social media every now and then, and like we'll chit chat for a couple days or whatever, and then like it's over and that's it. Like, no loss or anything like that. It's just, it's the weirdest freaking thing. Like, I don't understand it. I have no clue. And my grandma had 6 kids, and I only have a relationship with 2 of them, and it wasn't like that growing up. Like, it started changing when I was about 12 or 13 is when it started changing. Yeah, it's just the weirdest freaking thing ever. I don't get it. I don't know like what the deal is. Like, I've never had any like direct arguments with anybody, except for one of my cousins. I've never, but like my uncles and my aunts and anybody else, like, I've never had any like direct arguments with them to be like, oh yeah, I don't get along with such and such family member because of such and such. It's kind of like a weird thing. I'm running out here. The thing that sucks about working with the fancy floss is my threads are shorter, and so I'm re-threading more often, which is fine, whatever. But anyway, enough about that. This is my absolute favorite floss. I love working with Classic Colorworks. It's just like a nicer DMC. It's very smooth, and they have such nice color variations. This Bejeweled is one of my favorite. Yes, I'm a thread looker. The Bejeweled is one of my favorite colors from Classic Colorworks. I want to get the whole collection again. I just kind of in a place where I just don't want to build up the stash right now, because I have so much stash already. And so I've been doing pretty good past couple of weeks not buying anything, partly because I've been so busy, and partly because I really want to finish a lot of the things that I have. There's several things on my Etsy cart that I want to get, but I've been holding off because like I don't like need that. The thing that sucks is that, especially Etsy, I don't really like buying off of Etsy. But the thing that sucks is that all of these digital shops on like Etsy and eBay, like if you sit on a pattern for too long, and then when you're actually ready to buy it, like you go to try to buy it, and then the shop is gone, and like you can't purchase the pattern anymore, and then you can't find it again. It's so weird. So there was a couple of Doctor Who patterns in my cart that I was sitting on because I just didn't get them. And so when one day I was going through my Etsy cart. Like, I go through my Etsy, I keep stuff in my cart and stuff on my save for later, and I was going through the save for later, and I had those 2 Doctor Who patterns on there, and it said item not available. And I was like, okay, I see it often because some, you know, shops do go out of stock and I have to reload it. Even if it's a digital pattern, you can only preset it for so many. And so I waited. Weeks and weeks and weeks went by, and I kept checking periodically like I always do, and it never came back. So finally I clicked on it to see, like, maybe they changed something about it. Sometimes you have to go in there and change the quantity again, even though, like, it's only 1, because they changed something about the listing. And so I clicked on it, and for both of them, they were 2 different shops. The shop was just totally gone. Like, there was, oh, my head's not in the way. There was no shop to purchase that from. So I was like, oh my gosh, I thought, like, maybe they just hid the shop. I don't think you can do that on Etsy, and even when you go on vacation, it'll tell you the shop is on vacation. So I waited weeks to see, and those shops never came back. And so that's the kind of thing that sucks. Like, I have found, especially with Etsy and eBay, is that these shops just come and go. A lot of them are shops from foreign countries that kind of just pop up to make a quick buck, and then all of a sudden they're gone. For whatever reason, I have no clue. It's like, why are you doing this? Just to disappear after a while? And from what I recall, that shop was there for, I don't want to say I had those patterns on my cart for a year, but it was a good while. Sorry, I don't know if you can see me marking off, but I just like to be accurate because I messed up somewhere over here, not here, but like on the other side of this part. And so none of this is, like, up here at the top is exactly where it's supposed to be. But just looking at everything, as long as I make the bejeweled, which is the stitches that I'm doing right now, these ones in the correct place, I can juggle everything else. So that kind of works. I just hope that, I think this will be okay. Once I get to this part, I think everything's gonna be on track for it. I hope, anyway. We'll see. So yeah, anyway, so yeah, I finally just got rid of those charts that I had in my save for later. And I finally just let them go, and I haven't been able to find them again. One of them was what is it called? The Weeping, is it the Weeping Angel? It was a really cool, it was like, you're supposed to like frame it in a hoop. It was a circle picture of the Weeping Angel with her hands over her eyes, and the detail was just amazing. And it was kind of like a watercolor colorway with various shades of blue and a little bit of purple. It was so pretty. And yeah, it just disappeared. And the other one was the TARDIS in 4 seasons. So it was like the TARDIS in fall, the TARDIS in winter, spring and summer. It looked so cool, and of course it was kind of expensive for all 4 seasons. You could buy them separately, but I think like it was like $30 or something like that for all 4 seasons, and I felt like that was kind of a lot for them kind of being individual patterns. But I think because it was 4, I feel like they sold them each individually. I might be wrong. I recently saw somebody stitching one of those on YouTube, but they didn't link where they got it either. I'm noticing a lot of Asian Flosstube channels where it's just Stitch With Me's, and there's no descriptions in the boxes or anything about the pattern, so you really don't know. And I've been really, really, really into the dimensions kits for some reason. And it's funny because I've only stitched on one dimensions kit, which is the I think it's called Autumn Fairy, if I'm not mistaken. It's the fairy in fall time, and I it's the companion piece, I believe it's the companion piece to Woodland Enchantress, which is the spring one, if I'm not mistaken. I really want to get Woodland Enchantress, and it's on my Amazon like save for later cart, but I haven't bought it. And then I have a whole wish list of just Dimensions kits on my Amazon. For what reason, I don't know. It just happened to be that was all I saved on there. But yeah, I just thought that was funny. And I don't know, like, yeah, I've just been looking at them lately, and they seem like a lot of fun. I really liked the few stitches that I did put in on my Woodland Enchantress. I really liked it. I enjoyed the stitch. It was fun, and the floss is really, really, really nice. It's like a mix between DMC and CXC, which is weird. It's smoother to work with than DMC, and it's got more of a sheen to it than DMC does. And from my understanding, Dimensions has their own floss. It's not DMC, and so that could explain you know, the difference. I think a lot of people just assume it's DMC, but it's not. Yeah, I've also been really, really wanting to order a kit from Gecko Rouge, because again, I'm afraid that they're just going to be discontinued one day. And there's actually like 5, but there's 2 kits that I mainly really, really, really want. They're both from Jenny Parks, which is the one that does the cat series. So there's somebody that's doing, I don't know if it's the Harry Potter one or, and I can't remember her YouTube channel either, but I think she's either from Australia or the UK. She's doing one of the cat ones, but it's like cat characters as the fandom. So there's a Doctor Who one where it's like the TARDIS in space, and there's a black cat sitting at the entrance of the TARDIS while it's floating around in space. It just looks so freaking cool, and it seems to be like one of her smaller kits too, because it's much more affordable in that sense. The thing that I hate though is that I don't really care for any of the like fabric options that it comes with, and I'm kind of frustrated with it, because it's not like one of those things where you can just order it and change the fabric, because if you run out of thread, like, you have to contact them for more, because they don't give you the DMC numbers. Like, they want everything exclusive to them. And so when you get the kit, it's not numbered with the DMC, it's just labeled with the symbol. And so that's kind of like what I'm afraid of. And so I don't know, I'm so torn on ordering the kit. Not only that, but ordering it that way. So I've never ordered, aside from like a DMC kit, not a DMC, a Dimensions kit, which is way more affordable in comparison to ordering something from like a kit from Heaven and Earth, or a kit from Gecko Rouge, which I think we're just paying for the labor, honestly, in putting the kits together, because it's a digital pattern. You know, you could still get the paper pattern too, but that doesn't equate for like the significant cost difference. But yeah, those kits are like hundreds of dollars, and I see people ordering them, and I just want them. So the TARDIS one is one that I want, and then the other one that I want really bad is the Supernatural Cats one. That's Sam, Dean, and Castiel all just like there looking at you, and they're all cats. I can't get over it. So I don't know, I don't want to buy anything, you know. I want to move. I gotta save money for school clothes, and I will see at that time if, you know, how much I end up spending on school clothes and stuff. And then after school clothes, I have to save up for Christmas. I'm one of those people who doesn't like to be buying things in December. I start shopping in like August and September, and then that way, as we get closer to December, I kind of already have everything. And I know that like, oh, like sales, but honestly, like, I really don't end up spending much more by buying it beforehand instead of waiting for the sale, because I'll end up spending the money on something else if I wait until December. And not only that, I just don't like the hustle and bustle of the stores during the holidays. And I kind of like to only do my grocery shopping. Like, I don't want to be there on Black Friday. You know, it's fun. I've done it several times, but it's still a pain in the butt, you know? And then especially now with COVID, like, things have changed so much that they're not stocking things like they would on a normal holiday sale. And so it sells out, like, immediately. Not like it wouldn't sell out before, but it's even harder now. So I kind of just order as I go. I also have a Fingerhead account, which Fingerhead is kind of like hit and miss. They can kind of bank rob you sometimes with their prices. However, I've built up a good standing with them that I'm always getting coupons, and with the coupon it ends up being the same price as like Walmart or Amazon or whatever place you're going to get it from, and I get to make payments on it, which is much more convenient for me in that sense. And so that's good. You know, I hate to always be ordering stuff on credit, and I want to do what I did last year. Last year I had pretty much a debt-free Christmas. I was able to pay everything off except for one thing that I'm still paying on, which was my daughter's laptop that I bought her, because I bought her a really expensive laptop that she could game on. It's not a gaming laptop, but it's more for like drawing. But it was super expensive, and so that's the only thing that I'm still paying on. But everything from Christmas last year is completely paid for, which I'm really excited about. My mouth is really dry for some reason, probably because I haven't talked this much in a long time. So yeah, I have another job interview today. I've had like 3 job interviews this week, so I'm kind of excited about that. I'm gonna end this because I'm pretty excited about that. You know, at first I was specifically only applying to jobs that I was interested in regardless of pay. But after looking at it and realizing like pay structure and things like that, I realized that I really shouldn't be doing that, because I was getting the jobs. I've been offered 3 different jobs now, and they're all below what I need to make to be able to comfortably pay for everything. And so I finally started applying for jobs that are in the pay range that I want to get paid. There's not a shortage of them, but you know, they are jobs that usually want more experience. But I've been lucky that I've been able to back it with my education, because I'm a second-year graduate student, and so they like to see that, I guess. And so I've been lucky. The 2 job interviews that I had earlier this week, I won't know until, actually no, one of them I already turned down, because when I applied for the job, what was the job? Oh, it was a counselor at the juvenile detention center. They keep all of their staff runs 24/7, including counseling and, you know, all of that kind of thing. And the position was going to be, oh, I'm going too far. The way they work at the detention center is everybody takes turns on rotating shifts. And that's not something that I'm able to do, because one of those rotating shifts, well, not the evening, it wouldn't be too terrible, but the night shift, I can't remember the time. It was like 10 to something, I don't know. One of them you get out at 3 a.m. and then another one you get out like at 7 or 8 a.m. And that's not something that I'm comfortable doing with the ages of my children. I am not comfortable leaving them alone at night. Even though my oldest is 16, I'm still not comfortable a 16-year-old in the house with a 10 and an 8-year-old at home alone. So that's not something that I was willing to do. I'm sure people do it, and I'm sure they're great. I'm not saying that my kids aren't capable, but for my own sense of security, I don't want to leave them overnight. And they the schedules don't change until like 16 weeks, I think they said, which is like, what? That's just ridiculous. Like, that's a long time to be on the same schedule. So I said no. The other job interview I had yesterday, they won't let me know until next week. I do have a job. I want to get that clear. I was already offered a position over there, but it starts a little earlier than I want to start. And so I'm kind of like, I don't know if I should turn it down after all and wait till something else comes along. But then I also don't want to, like, I've put my finances in order that I could get through the next 2 months with savings and other income that I'm bringing in, to not completely stress out over it. But I mean, it doesn't mean that I have to like it, you know. It's still gonna suck, but then, you know, I'll be more available for when something else comes along, which I'm kind of also thinking. I don't know, I just kind of one of those things. And then, so I have another job interview today. I don't know if I said the job interview I had yesterday, she's not gonna let me know until next week. And then I have another job interview today, which is a completely different position, but it's the same position that I also interviewed for yesterday with a different company. So yeah. I've also been considering putting in a couple of remote applications. I just don't know how legit those jobs are. Like, I look at the remote one, like, I'm applying for like in-person jobs, right? And on Indeed, for most of the jobs that you apply for, it'll show you the number of people that have also applied to the job. And like the in-person ones, you know, the highest I've seen for some of the positions is a couple $100s, and that's mostly for like the uncertified positions. A couple hundred people. Most of the ones that I've applied for, there's only like 30 people. Some of them are as low as like 5 people have applied for the same position. But the remote ones, like, I see 400 or 500. One of them I even saw that like a 1,500 to 2,000 people have applied. Like, it doesn't give you the exact number, but it gives you like a small range of how many people have applied. And so I'm like, there is no way that they're going to approve my little application out of 1,000 people. But then, like, you just never know. You know, and I don't know if other states are like this, but New Mexico and Arizona have a mandatory retirement that you have to pay into when you're working a state job. And it freaking sucks. I work a state job right now, and the retirement that they force you to pay into here in New Mexico is 10% of my paycheck. And then there's a mandatory disability that they also force you to pay into, which is, I can't remember if it's a disability or if it's a life insurance. I think it's a life insurance. It's 1%. So that's 11% of my paycheck that I am required to pay into. I don't have a choice, simply just by working there. Well, Arizona, I'm paying 11% here between those two things. In Arizona, between their two things that they have, it's just like a similar situation. It is 12.41%. Now I completely understand why people say, like, they see that cops make a high hourly wage, but they're not actually bringing that home, because 12% in Arizona, 12% of their paycheck is going straight into retirement funds. Retirement and I can't remember what the other one is. And it's like, you know, it's great for retirement when you're old, but it sucks right now. You know what I mean? Because it brings your take-home pay way, way, way down. And that's something else that's like, I even almost considered signing up for the police academy, but it's the same thing where they do the rotation shift and you're required to work night shift, and I'm just not comfortable with that at this time. Maybe if my kids were older, it won't be a possibility for me. The last time I checked, at least here in New Mexico, you have to be under 35 in order to apply. By the time my kids are old enough, I will be over 35. I would have to apply in the next year in order for that to not be an issue, and it just won't work. I'm pretty sure with some practice I could pass the physical exam, my sister's starting the police academy. I don't know when. I know she's going to be staying with me, though, in Arizona, because so I'm only about an hour and a half from her town, but she lives in a very small town. And she told me that their police academy does their training in the town that I'm going to be living in. So she's like, that's great. I don't have to worry about hotel or whatever, which I feel like they put them up, but I'm not sure. Like, I don't know how it works out. You know, if they do offer them a hotel, I'm sure she'll end up just staying there. But I like the idea of her staying with me, and I was actually even considering that, like saying like, hey, you should apply over here and just work here, and I'll find a bigger house. The hell was that? Oh, sorry, I had an interruption. My son came down. One, two, three, four, six. My son, 1, 2, 3. Sorry, I'm counting. My son came down. They have like a very short day at school today. It's like an assembly and like a senior free day type of thing. He's not a senior, but he already did all his exams, and so it just, you know, half days are kind of eh. And honestly, this is what I didn't understand about this school year, which I thought was the silliest thing. So they shortened the summer, right? The kids are going to school until like the 26th or the 25th, and they start school again in July. It's the same thing in the town that I'm moving to, which also sucks because I was hoping that they wouldn't have to start in July. But this week, next week, they have 3 days. Half of this week was nothing but free days at the school, which didn't make any sense to me, because it's like, you're sending them to school just to have parties. Like, why? Like, they want these mandatory days because they need to keep the kids in school for so many days. But if they're having all these free days, then what's the point? Like, I don't need to send my kid to school to have a pizza party and a water fight, which I understand. Like, oh, the interaction, whatever. But still, like, it's the silliest thing. So this whole week for my son had some finals this week, but my elementary is that word? My elementary student, she didn't do anything at all this week. They were just, I know today is the free day. That means no cones and everything. Yesterday, I'm pretty sure this whole entire week was them just getting ready for next year and like other non-graded things, which is weird because these are mandatory school days. And so I'm like, you know, it's a pain in the butt. She did her testing last week, and so like the elementary is completely done. And then this is a weird thing too, is the grading period ended on the 5th. And they're like, oh, we got to get report cards out. But why do you need 3 weeks for them to still be in school? If the grading period ended, then that goes to tell you that after May 5th, there's no graded assignments. They're going to account towards them passing that grade or not. So why is the rest of those 3 weeks mandatory? I don't know. That's my 2 cents. I feel weird about it. And even my son, he's in high school. He's like, yeah, I don't know why we're here. I think he did his finals on Monday and Tuesday. And then he was done. Or actually, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And he was done with his finals. Yesterday, he said all they had just an assembly yesterday for like the seniors and football and all this other stuff, which I get, you know, but it just, like, don't make them mandatory if they're not. I don't know, that's just me. I could be totally wrong. I don't remember having that many like off days when I was in school. Like the last week of school was usually kind of more free, but definitely not the entire week. It was like maybe the last 2 days of school. But yeah, I just thought it was weird that they basically haven't been doing anything for almost a whole month of May. But it is what it is. So yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for the summer. I'm thinking of ordering my kids a swimming pool. I think I have it in my budget to order them a swimming pool, a nice sized one. It's gonna be an above ground pool, obviously, but I think it'll be good, as long as I can maintain it. You know, we had one before, when we lived, you know, when I was still married to their dad. And so I think I'm gonna get another one. I can't remember the size of the, oh man, I don't know where I'm at. Okay, something's not right here, because there's 3, but I have 1 extra row here. See, this is what I mean about, like, because I messed up over here, sometimes things aren't right. And so now I can't figure out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 8. There's 2, and then there's 3. So why do I have 1 extra row here? See, this doesn't make any sense to me. This appears to be correct. 1, 2, 3, but what is this and why? My seashells here. Let me look at the picture real quick. Yeah, these are just the leaves, so they don't have to be super perfect, but I did all of these ones and they look fine. Did I do that one already? No, I haven't finished. I haven't done the top part. I've done the bottom part already though. So this part doesn't have to be perfect right here, but I just can't figure out. It's gonna change the shape of this nail, because this is, see, I'm so confused. 2, 2, 2. I have that one and then the 2 rows. See, this doesn't make any sense to me. Do I put another row in? See, I thought this side would be correct. And I don't want to start from here and start coming this way and then my snail be too wide. The snail needs to be the correct size. So what I did with the other side was I did the leaf and then the background, I went ahead and did the fill-in after. I'm just looking. Okay, so what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull the gold out. I'm gonna do my snail, and then I will come back to the bejeweled, which is the dark one, and then use the fill-in after. That's gonna make the most sense, because the fill-in is just like shadow and things in the background. So yeah, I'm gonna end this thread. It's not too long. I pin stitch everything, if you guys haven't noticed. I don't know how long this video is, but yeah, that's the whole school situation. It's just a weird thing. And so it's funny because in Tucson, so we're actually moving to Vail, which is right at the outskirts of Tucson. And it's funny because Vail School District starts weeks before Tucson does. It's the weirdest thing. They don't have the same schedule because Vail is its own school district. It's not part of the Tucson school district. And so I thought that was really weird too. I'm gonna cut this in half because it's too hard to work with in a long strand. It's a weird thing. And Vail, unfortunately, starts school in July, and Tucson school district starts school in August. And when I was first planning the move, I actually had chosen a different house that would have been in the Tucson school district. And then this other one came up that was a lot bigger, and had the space that I wanted. The first house that I chose only had 1 bathroom, And so when this other house came up, I was like, oh my God, it was the same exact price. I was like, you know what, I need this one. This one, it's like speaking to me. It's the same exact size as my townhouse here, which I think is small. That's just me coming from having lived in a lot larger houses, and being spoiled that way. But it's all one story. It's not a two-story like this one is. So I think it's gonna have a bigger feel because it's not, oy vey. Okay, this isn't gonna work because it's not two-story. I think it'll feel decent. Okay, why is this not going through? Okay, that didn't work. This is really hard to work with. This is the gold DMC metallic, and I chose this a while back. So I'm gonna bring it more to the edge. I'm gonna start it on this side instead. Sorry, I hope my head's not in the way. But anyway, I don't remember what I was saying. Oh, the house is bigger. Plus, I'm actually thinking of getting a storage shed outside, one of those ready-made ones, and making that my like office, and just keeping all of my cross stitch out there. I was thinking of getting one of those electric AC units and using that as my craft room. Okay, I think I got it. I read a trick. Actually, I don't know if it was on a YouTube video or not, about the metallic doing one strand instead of two strands. And I tried it here. I don't know if you guys can see. And it's easier to do, but the coverage isn't there. Even though you do it double, so it's like doing one strand, but you, instead of doing the X once, you do the X twice. So you're still getting the two strands, but the coverage doesn't look the same. I definitely should have chose something else, but I'm kind of one of those people who, once I commit to something, I want to finish it the way I started it. So anyway, I think I'm going to end it here. I got to look at the time, and I got to get ready before my job interview because I haven't even gotten ready today yet. So yeah, these metallic stitches, they definitely don't lay as nice as you'd want them to lay. I don't know why. Like, I don't even know why make thread like this if it doesn't even stitch well. I probably would have had better luck with a cry knit. Cry knit doesn't feel this rough to me as the DMC metallic, but maybe it's just dependent on the thickness. And I don't know the difference between the cry knits because I've only ever tried ones that I've gotten like in kits, or like, because you can order the memorabilia kits, or like what came in something else. And then these would just fall apart. Let me see if I can hide it. Yeah, that one hit nicely. See how long that took just for those few stitches? Anyway, I'm gonna end it here. Hopefully this wasn't too rambly for you, and I will try to be back next week with another stitch with me, maybe in a couple days. I don't know. I'm going to Arizona tomorrow, pick up the house keys. I'm gonna move. I'm actually gonna take all of my breakables because I don't trust anybody. Last time a lot of things got broken and I just don't want that to happen again. So yeah, I'm gonna take a lot of my breakables. I'm gonna clean house today, pack, organize, and yeah, that's about it. And stitch, of course. We stitch every day. But anyway, all right guys, I will see you guys in the next video. The next video after this will probably be my next Flosstube. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.